I've just created the ultimate AI agent that helps me repurpose my reels and content into all the different platforms without having to pay a single cent for the API. And what's even cooler is that this agent helps me create unique captions for each of these different platforms, helping me optimize my reach. Check this out. And if you have followed me from the previous video where I have created a system that helps me generate content on autopilot, I actually have all of this content uploaded into this specific Airtable over here. And so once the status is actually set to ready to upload, you can see over here my n8n system, my n8n workflow will be scheduled on a daily basis, searching for the ready to upload videos, and then it will actually automatically help me publish all these contents onto all of these platforms on a daily basis. And so I'm going to click play to show you how it works. Check this out. You can see over here, the publishing agent is right now helping us craft all of these different descriptions and captions for each of these different platforms. After it's done, it's going to utilize the 3 different APIs to help us upload into YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So let's wait and see what happens at the end of it. Alright, now that it's done, let's check out our social media platforms to see what has happened. Let's open this up and refresh this. You can see over here, the new video has been posted into Shorts. So let's check this out. You can see this is the current video that we have uploaded onto YouTube. Alright, amazing. And let's go into Facebook to see if we have this new video as well. So let's refresh this. You can see over here, this video has been uploaded as well with a different caption just for Facebook. Right, and if you go into Instagram, you can see over here, we also have the Reels uploaded as well. And then we have a different caption for this as well with some hashtags as well, just specifically for Instagram. So that's super cool, and that's how we can actually repurpose our content into 3 different platforms using our specific workflow. And so today we're going to go through how this exactly works and how you can build your own specific publishing agent for you to publish your content unlimitedly onto every single platform. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So to get started, let me just run through an overview of how this workflow works, and then I'm going to go through in depth into each of these specific components on how you can build it too. Alright, so you see over here in the overview of this workflow, they actually split into 3 different components. The first component over here is where I actually look into my Airtable for content that's ready to be published. And when I actually have those videos ready to be published, the publishing agent would then craft specific descriptions for each of these different platforms, and then download the video from our Airtable. And then you move into the second part of it where you pass into these 3 different systems, the YouTube system, the Instagram system, as well as the Facebook system, allowing us to upload our videos into these 3 different platforms. Once that is done, it will actually update the Airtable as well to tell us that these posts have been posted, and then it will send over to the final post, and then at the end of it, it will actually update the Airtable to let us know that this video has been posted onto all of these different platforms. So you can look over here in my Airtable. You can see over here, when the video is completed, the status will be set to completed, the Instagram will be set to uploaded, Facebook to uploaded, YouTube to uploaded as well. And this is so that in the future, when new videos are uploaded, it will actually make sure that it only helps us upload the new ones and not the old ones as well. And so why is this so important and why is it so powerful, right? Firstly, being able to repurpose your content onto all the different platforms really helps you to optimize your reach for your content or your specific business. And this could be super useful without having to pay tons of money for publishing content. As you can see over here, popular tools like Hootsuite actually cost $99 per month on minimum, or even up to $200 or thousands of dollars per month to actually help you schedule all your content systems into all the different platforms. But this specific system that we have created do not actually have to pay a single cent for the API, and you can also customize it to your own specific manner, making the AI create the different captions or do different things for you specifically to your own specific needs. And this is what makes this workflow super powerful. Lastly, you could also use this workflow and create an application and sell it as a service, just like Hootsuite, to businesses and charge them $20 to $99 per month, or even more than that depending on what is the specific offer. And so this is a super valuable agent that you can actually learn today. And so today we're going to go through every single part of it so that you can build it too. Now, before we get in depth into how to actually build this whole workflow, if you're interested to really learn more about AI agents, I am creating an AI agents community where I have ambitious creators, entrepreneurs, and enthusiasts ready to go beyond basic blueprints and master AI agent creation. So if you're interested to learn more about AI agents and build production-ready AI agents to help you in your own specific use cases and get ahead in this AI race, do join the waitlist link in description below to secure your early access. And now, without further ado, let's get right into the building of it. So I'm going to start off with creating a specific trigger node. And to do so, you just have to click plus button over here. And we're going to search for schedule trigger. And you just have to click into this to create this specific node. Once you have this specific node created, you can open this up. You can actually set the trigger to the specific settings that you want. So I'm just going to set it as 1 for now if I want to post a specific post each and every single day. Now you can definitely set it to every 30 minutes or so on and so forth, up to you. Okay. Once this is done, the next node I'm going to create is a Airtable node. I'm going to create a node called search record, right? So you just have to search for Airtable, click into this, and you want to find the search record node over here. Okay, and so over here, what this does is that we want to actually search for the Airtable record that we have created. So now let's go into Airtable to see the specific Airtable that we have created. So you can see over here, I've actually created an Airtable from the previous video, and you can see these are the specific fields that I have. So I start off with having a simple field like the name, the description, as well as the final video link, right? And so for this specific Airtable, I have actually created a couple of fields, but I'm going to go through the important ones and the ones that you can actually modify to actually fit your own specific workflow. So over here, you can see over here, I have the first field, which is the name, and the second one, which is the description. And over here, you can see the third field I have is final video, and this is a link for the specific video that we have created from our video generation system. Over here, there'll be a status tab, right? I've created it under a single select, and in this status tab, I have a couple of fields. So the first one is pending, the second is materials uploaded, the third is ready to be uploaded, and the fourth is completed. And so my trigger for this specific publishing system is ready to upload, right? So whenever I have a video that is completed, it will actually change from materials upload to ready to upload from my system. And once that is done, our AI system will actually look for ready to upload and then use that as a trigger to schedule the publishing process. All right, and then over here, I've created 3 more fields, where the first one is Instagram, second one is Facebook, the third one is YouTube. Right, this is for us to know that this specific video has been uploaded. So I've kept it pretty simple. This is also a single select. I've kept it as 2 different fields. So the first option is pending, the second is uploaded. It's the same for the next 2. And then afterwards, I've created another field called created time. And this can be found by searching for the created time field type, right? And then you also have a last modified time. Similarly, you find the last modified time field type. And the last one is record ID. I'm going to give it a formula. I'm going to type record underscore ID bracket. And that's how it's able to automatically generate a record ID for you. And so these 3 fields are actually pretty useful to use as trigger or for us to identify each of these specific videos that we want to look for. Okay. And so once you have the Airtable set up, right, what we're going to do is to go back to n8n, and then we're going to open up search record, the node that we have created. Okay, from there, you want to make sure you have connected to your credentials. You want to make sure the base and the table is created accordingly as well. And so to create your credentials, you want to go into airtable.com/create/tokens. You want to create a credential over here. Make sure to give it a scope access. You want to make sure that it's able to create, edit, and delete records. You want to make sure it's able to read as well. Okay, and then from there, you want to give it access to the specific base that you have. And once that is done, you will get an API, and that's where you're going to use it for your n8n over here. Right, just have to open this up, create a new credential, and add in your API access token. All right, once this is done, we're going to add in this filter over here. Right, so we're going to choose filter by formula. I'm going to type in this specific formula, which is status equals ready to upload. Right, what this does is that it's looking for the status, which is ready to upload. For example, if I change this to ready to upload, and if my workflow is actually live, it will actually find this specific video, and then you help me post it onto my different platforms. And then once that is completed, it will change all of them to completed, upload, upload, and upload. All right. Okay. And so once this is done, we're going to close this. The next part of it is our publishing agent. And so this is the brain of the publishing system. And so to create this publishing agent, we're going to click plus over here. We're going to search for LLM chain. We're going to click this over here, and you will have something like this. Opening this up, we do have some settings over here. So firstly, for source for prompt, I would set it as defined below, right? Because I want to give it a specific prompt. Okay, if I open this up for my prompt, you can see over here, this is the description for the whole prompt that I have created. So I'm going to quickly run through this, but you can also download the resources link in the description below to gain access to this blueprint. All right. And so you can see over here, the first part of my prompt is actually told it what it's supposed to do for us, which is a AI specialized in crafting high impact viral titles and descriptions, specifically optimized for Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook Reels. Right, you will receive a JSON input containing 2 fields, which is first the name of story and secondly the description. Right, and so where do we get this information from? You can see over here previously we do have the name as well as the description of each of this video, and this is enough to give a basic understanding of what the video is about. Right, so coming back here to get this over to our AI agent, that's where I use the search record to get the specific information. Right, from search record, I'm going to drag over the name over here. I'm going to drag this and place this in. You have something like that, json.name. And the same thing here for description, we just have to drag over the description from our Airtable. Okay, once that is done, we're going to tell you that its task is to generate platform-specific content tailored to the unique characteristics and audience engagement style of each platform. Right, for example, in Instagram Reels, we'll have a brief, visually descriptive description incorporating relevant hashtags with a maximum of 5 hashtags and a strong call to action for liking and sharing. Right, following that for YouTube Shorts, we can also change it as well. And in YouTube, we do have the titles and the description. We can have a specific prompt for each of them. And similarly for Facebook, we could also have a similar prompt for each of them as well, title and description. And so essentially what's interesting here is that I'm actually customizing different descriptions for different platforms using one specific agent. And that to me is an additional bonus that the AI can actually do for us in our publishing process. And so to really make this work, I think what's really important is actually this specific JSON output over here. Right, what I actually want to do is to ask it to output the response strictly in valid JSON format as follows. And so essentially what JSON does is that it's able to split each of these output into different items for us so that we can actually map them individually one by one into the different platforms without having the output all collide as one specific chunk. And you'll understand a bit more later on when I go into each of these specific nodes later. We can see over here, firstly, I've given it Instagram, description, YouTube, title, description, Facebook, title, description, right? And this specific format itself allows me to have 5 different fields, which is description for Instagram, title, description for YouTube, title, description for Facebook. And to ensure that we really get this output exactly in the way that we want, we're going to go back to the publishing agent and I'm going to choose require specific output format. And so to get a specific format that we want, I'm going to go back to the publishing agent and I'm going to tell it to require a specific output format, right? We're going to press back, okay? Then from here, you will have something like this, which is a output parser. I'm going to connect it to a structured output parser over here. Open this up, and I'm going to give it this specific JSON example. And this is exactly what we have written earlier over there. Instagram, description, YouTube, title, description, Facebook, title, description. Let's take a look at the next node to really understand how this actually works. Right, so if you open up the next node over here, you can see from the publishing agent, you can see that from the publishing agent, we do have all of the outputs actually created in different fields that we can drag and drop over here. Where you can see Instagram description is one specific field, YouTube title is one, description for YouTube is also one, Facebook title is one, description for Facebook is also one. This allows us to actually map all of this into the different platforms that we want to actually use them later on. And so that's really cool. Alright, now coming to the next node. This specific node will be a get video node. So I've actually created this just to be super sure that we can actually receive the information from Airtable, but this is not super necessary. And so I've created this Airtable node just to double confirm on making sure that we get the video link from the Airtable so that we can use it later on. And so in this Airtable node, the operation will be get, the resource will be record, make sure the base would be the same, which is video log for us, and the table is videos. And then the record ID, we're just going to drag over the record ID from search records over here, drag this and paste this over here. Okay, once it's done, you should be able to get a output like this, right? And this is where we're going to get the final video dragged over later on. All right, I'm going to press back and we are done with this specific part. Just one last node to create. And this last node would be a HTTP request. And so this is where we really want to download the video so that we can actually post it onto the 3 different platforms. And so how to create the HTTP node over here, you just have to click plus, search for HTTP request, and then you have to click into this, and then you have something like this specific node. Open this up, okay, and then the method will be get. And what you want to do is to drag the final video over here and paste this in. And that's all you need to do. And then you will have an output that looks like this, which is binary. And this is what we actually need to use to be able to post it onto Facebook or Instagram later on. Alright, now once this is done, we actually do have our video and our title and description ready. Now we just have to make sure that we can publish onto the 3 different platforms without any problems. And so let's come into the second part of it, which is the publishing component. Alright, so let's start off with the very first part, which is the YouTube agent, okay? For YouTube, it's actually quite straightforward. We're going to start off by creating a new node and we're going to search for the YouTube node itself, okay? Once you have that, we're going to open this up. And we do have to connect the credentials to the YouTube account, right? So if I open this up, create new credentials, you can see over here we do need the client ID as well as the client secret, and there is a OAuth redirect URL over here. And so how do we connect to the API over here, right? So what you're gonna do firstly is go into Google Cloud Console, okay? And firstly, we're gonna go into API and services. We're gonna click enable API services. Okay, we're gonna search for YouTube. We're gonna go into data API v3. And we're just gonna make sure that this specific API is enabled, okay? Once this is done, we're gonna go into API and services, credentials, and we're gonna create a new credential over here. Click create a new credential. We're gonna click into OAuth client ID. We're gonna search for desktop app. We're just gonna click into web application, okay? We're gonna give it a name, for example, YouTube Shorts, okay? And then we're just gonna have the authorized redirect URL from our n8n platform. So if you copy this, go back into Google Cloud, type this in, and then once you click create, you will get the API keys. And how do you get that is over here, you can see there is an action, right? For your client ID, you just have to click download and you open up the API key for you to copy over into n8n. And you just have to paste the client ID over here and the client secret over here and log into your account and you're good to go. Okay, we're gonna close this and we should have our credentials connected. Okay, and then following that, resources would be video over here. Right, we want to upload a video. Operation will be upload. And then for the title, we're going to choose from the agent that has created a title for us earlier on. So let's go into schema. If you go into the publishing agent over here, you can see over here we do have the YouTube title created. We just have to drag this and paste this over here. And then you have something like this. Okay, the region code, you just have to choose the country that you're in. And I choose Singapore. And then from there, the category name and ID, I'll choose films and animation. You can choose the different categories according to what your video is about. The input binary field would be data, and this is what allows us to get the video that we have downloaded from our Airtable earlier on. Alright, and then for description, we're just gonna drag over the description from the publishing agent as well over here. And then you should have something like this. Okay, perfect. And once this is done, I'm gonna press back. You can go into the next node, which is a update record node from Airtable. I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna make sure the operation is update, the resource is record, right? And your credentials should be connected from earlier on. Okay, the base would be the same as well. And then the column to match, we're gonna choose ID, right? And this is where the record ID is actually quite important, right? So we have created the record ID from our Airtable earlier on. We're just gonna go into get video. We're gonna pull the record ID over here and paste this in. And this we're going to look for the specific column that we have used to upload our video. And we're just going to change the status of YouTube to uploaded. And this so that we know the YouTube video has successfully been uploaded. Okay, and that's all you got to do for the YouTube agent. So very easy, and once this is completed, you'll be able to post your video onto YouTube. Now we're going to go into the next two parts, which is a little bit more challenging, but not to worry, I'll guide you through the whole process. We're going to start off with Instagram, and then we're going to go into Facebook. Okay, so for n8n currently, we only can use the Facebook graph node. We're going to use that mainly to help us post onto both Instagram and Facebook. Okay, we're going to start with Instagram first, right? You can see over here, I've created a Facebook graph API. You just have to search over here on the right side, click into this, and you will get something like this. Okay, open this up. We do have the credentials that we need to connect. We do have a couple of instructions here as well. So how do we find all of this information, right? We're going to go firstly into Meta Business, okay? In Meta Business, you want to make sure to be able to connect your Instagram page into this. So how do we do so, right? You want to go into settings, okay? You want to go into Instagram accounts and make sure that your Instagram account has been added in. So you just have to add in by clicking onto the plus button over here, click add, and then you have to click agree, and then you will claim an Instagram account just to log in and follow the steps. Okay, once you have done that, you should be able to get your account over here, right? And so once this is done, the next thing you want to do is to go into system user, okay? And then you're going to create a new system user. I can see over here I've created one. So what I'm going to do is to create a new system user. You can give it a name, let's say test, and then you can give it a system user role, can be admin, create system user, okay? And then for us, we only have a maximum number of 1. Right, so we have already created it, so we can't create again. Okay, once you have done so, you do have to create an app for n8n as well. So to do so, we're going to go into apps. Okay, we're going to create a new application, create a new app ID, All right, we're gonna go into developer.facebook.com. Okay, we're gonna create an app, and then you just have to give it a name. So we can say this is n8n test 2. Click next. Okay, what is it gonna do? You wanna make sure to give it some access. So we can say others. Click into others. Click next. Okay, and then we're gonna click business. Click next. And the business portfolio would be the specific portfolio that have access to your Instagram page as well as your Facebook page. Okay, and so if you don't have the Facebook page, similarly, you want to make sure to create a page over here as well by adding in your Facebook page. Okay, coming back to the developer page, click create app, and you just have to type in your password. Okay, and you should be good to go. All right, here we have it. Okay, perfect. Okay, now we have this app. We want to make sure to set up the Instagram as well as the Facebook. So we're just gonna click Instagram first, click setup. Okay, and then we're just gonna leave it as it is for now. Okay, and from here we're gonna go into basics, right? And then we're gonna have to add in a privacy policy URL to make sure that this app can work for us. Okay, we're gonna go into terms feed. Right, terms feed essentially is a privacy policy generator. If you don't have a web page or business that have a privacy policy, over here you can generate a new one. So you have to click into this, click application, next step. Let's call this n8n test. Click I am an individual. Okay, or you can click a business as well, and you can choose your country. Let's choose Singapore. Click next, and let's say the personal information we've collected is social media information, and that's it. And then we're going to choose next step. Okay, and then we're just going to click by email. Just type in our email over here, and then we'll click next. And from here we don't need a professional privacy policy, and then we click next, generate this, and we should have a privacy policy over here. You can read this to make sure that it's correct. You can read this to make sure it's correct and good to use. Okay, once this is done, you just have to click copy over here. We do have the link, and then we just go back to Meta, and then you just have to paste in the privacy policy over here. Okay, after you paste in the privacy policy URL, we're going to click save over here. Okay, once you have saved the URL over here, you should be able to set this app to live. Click into this. All right, now it's live. We're good to go. We're going to go back to the business platform and finish up the access code for Instagram, and then we're going to go into Facebook. All right, so coming back to this platform, we're going to go to system user, and this time we're going to generate a token. So click generate a token. We're going to select the app, and you just have to select the app that you have created earlier on. Click next, and then from here you can set the token expiry date. Right over here you can set it as never, so that the token will never expire. Just click next as well, and then you have to give it the permissions. And so what's important for the permissions over here, we're going to give it business management. You want to give it Instagram publish, content publish. You want to give it Instagram basics, and we want to make sure that we can do, and we're going to add in page events, and we also want to add in publish video. Once you have all these options selected, click generate token, and then you should get a new token to be able to use for your API. Copy this token, and you click done, and you are good to go. Okay, once you have this token, you're gonna go back to n8n. Okay, you're gonna open the Facebook API over here, right? And then you're gonna connect your token by creating a new credential and type in your token, and then you should be good to go. All right, and once this is done, you're gonna set the host URL to default. HTTP request would be post graph API version v22 or any other latest version that you're using. The note over here, this is where we want to actually type in the Instagram account that we will be posting to. So let's go back to Meta Business. We're going to go into Instagram accounts. Okay, and then we're going to copy this ID over here, copy this, and then we'll paste this over here. The age would be actually sort of like the media type, so we're going to choose media. Okay, and then we're going to add in some parameters. So click add parameters, and then you have a new parameter to add in. We're going to add in 3 parameters. The first is the video URL. So once you add in the video URL, the parameters you want to add in is the final video URL over here. Paste this in. Okay, and then the next one is caption, right? And we're gonna find the caption from the publishing agent. We're gonna look for Instagram, drag the description over here, paste this in. And then lastly is the media type. We're gonna type Reels. And this will be all that we need to get this first part set up. Now Instagram has two parts to the publishing process. So you firstly have to create a container over here. Right, once you click test tab, you would get an output like this, which is an ID, which shows that it's working perfectly. Okay, from there you're gonna go into a new one. So once again, create a new Facebook Graph API. Open this, same credentials connected, same thing here, HTTP post, same node. This time the only change is media_publish. From there you should be able to get an ID from the previous node. Okay, and then you're gonna create a new parameter. We're gonna name this creation_ID, and you're gonna drag over the ID over here. And then once that is done, once this step is played, you would have your video uploaded onto Instagram. Okay, and once that is done, publishing to Instagram is completed. Similarly, we have to create an Airtable node over here. Make sure to give it access, and we want to make sure to use the ID for matching. And then we want to update Instagram to upload it. Okay, once this is done, we're gonna finish up the final one, which is Facebook. So same thing for Facebook, you can use the Facebook Graph API as well. And we do have to connect the credentials. You can actually use the same credentials for Instagram earlier on, you just have to give it more access. So if you go into Meta Business Suite, you go into System Users, we can generate token again, select the app, n8n, set never. You're gonna give it permissions to all the different pages as well, like pages manage engagement, page manage posts, and so on and so forth, so that it's able to actually publish the post onto our page as well. And also from there, you want to make sure to give the system user access to the Facebook page as well. And then from here, I make sure to assign people and make sure to give access to the system user, all of it as well. Okay, perfect. And then if that's good, just go back into n8n, use the same credential, and this time we have to set the node to me. The age will be videos, and you can send the binary type, which would be data. Query parameters, you can select title. You can actually choose the field from the previous publishing agent node for Facebook title as well as for the description, and then you should be good to go. And for Facebook, you only need one specific node to make sure that it's working perfectly. So I'm going to test this step to show you how it works. If I click test step, so I've clicked test step to show you how it works, and once it's completed, you can see over here, if the ID is shown over here, the posts have been uploaded onto Facebook. And for Facebook, you don't have to actually create two different nodes. You can just use one to publish it onto Facebook automatically. Okay, and so that's all you need to do for this specific node. Similarly, we're going to create a node for the Airtable access as well. And so we're going to create an Airtable update record, and then we just have to change the Facebook settings, and then we just have to change the Facebook column to uploaded. And that should be all you need to do. Alright, so before we continue, just to share another method to get the API keys for Facebook and Instagram is to actually use the Facebook graph inside the Meta Developer app. So I'm just going to quickly run through the other method for you so you can see how you can get the API in a different manner as well. Okay, so we're going to go into the Meta Development page. We're going to go into Tools. We're going to click Graph API Explorer. You do have an access token over here, and you can actually use this access token. And so same as the Meta Business Suite itself, you want to give the permissions to both Facebook and Instagram. So you can see over here, I've selected Pages, Show List, Business Management, Instagram Basics, Instagram Content Publish, Page Reach Engagement, and so on and so forth, right? And once you give all the different permissions for Pages as well as Instagram, you can then generate an access token over here. And then you have to reconnect, all right? And then once that is done, you can copy this access token, right? You can go into the access token debugger. Right, we're going to paste this access token in over here and click debug. And over here you can see there is an expiry date for this token created over here, right? Unlike the previous method earlier where we can actually set it to never expire. And so to solve this problem, you just have to click extend access token over here. And then from here you have this new extended access token. You just have to copy this, go back to n8n, and then from here you just have to create a new credential as well and pasting this into your access token. And there you have it, another method for you to create access tokens for Facebook and Instagram. Now once again, the reason I showcased to you this other method is because sometimes the access token from the business suite may not actually work all the time. So these are just two different methods that you can actually use to access your Facebook and Instagram pages. Alright, perfect. And so now let's complete this specific workflow. And what I'll do over here is to make sure that all these status over here for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube is set to uploaded before we update the status as completed. So very quickly over here, we're just going to create another node called the if node, right? Just a search for if. Okay, open this up, and I'm going to make sure to add in these 3 different fields. The first one is JSON field.youtube, make sure it's uploaded. The JSON field.instagram is also uploaded, and then Facebook is also set to uploaded. And so if all of these fields are set to uploaded, right, you actually set as true, and this is where we can create the final node, which is also a update record node, and then we're going to set the status to completed, and that's all we need for our workflow. And just like that, you have a full publishing system that allows you to upload your content onto YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook anytime that you want on autopilot. If you like videos like this, do give it a like and subscribe, as I'll be sharing more AI agent tutorials in the upcoming videos. Till then, I really appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.